Shalom and welcome to all my YouTubers. I'm going to continue and share my spiritual beliefs. I am a Hebrew Israelite from the seed of Abraham, from the tribe of Judah. Yes, that's where I trace my lineage back to. And I'm going to continue on just sharing some brief insight regarding my beliefs. I left off sharing some scriptures about this Hebrew book, which is the Tanakh that we have available today, the Hebrew Bible from the King James Version. And I was briefly explaining that this is a historic Hebrew book and only speaks to the nation of Israel. And if you didn't trace your lineage back to the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, then guess what? This book is not talking to you. It only speaks to them. Even when the Most High spoke, he chose to speak in the Hebrew language, and that is the original script, the language of the scriptures, Hebrew. When Christ came on the scene, he spoke that language as well. How do I know this? Because I'm going to continue to share only through the scriptures. If you have a Bible, you can follow me if you like. Acts 26 and verse 14 says, "And when we were all fallen to the earth, I heard a voice speaking unto me and saying in the Hebrew tongue, Saul, Saul, why persecutest thou me?" I'm going to stop right there. I just informed you that not only is this a historic Hebrew book, but guess what? Christ spoke in the Hebrew language to all you manipulators that like to continue to use this Bible to reflect culture. Guess what? You are misleading the public. Christ didn't speak in the Latin language. He didn't speak in the Greek language, He only spoke in the Hebrew language, and that is the original language of the scriptures. See? Now, of course, you may not find a lot of the Hebrew words in a lot of our modern day translations when it comes to this book, because they're editing out a lot of the Hebrew words because they try to make this book reflect the world, which is very misleading. Because if you go back and do the research when it comes to this book, it only speaks to Hebrew Israelites. Now, Hebrews in the book are known as just plain Hebrews, or known as Hebrew Israelites, or the children of Israel. He only spoke to them, to those who still don't understand what I'm saying. The Most High only spoke to the nation of Israel. I hope I articulated it in a slow voice where you can comprehend what I just said. The Most High only spoke his word, law, statutes, and decrees to the nation of Israel. Do you hear me? Do I need to say it again? The Most High only spoke his word or words to the nation of Israel. Now, the Tanakh is the writings of the prophets, because when the Most High spoke his words to the nation of Israel, when it was on Mount Sinai, guess what? The atmosphere changed. There was lightning, there was thunders. If you go back and read the 5 books of Moses, which is the Torah, you're going to see that they was afraid of his voice. So they said, Moses, if you speak his words to us, then we will obey them. But if you know the story of the children of Israel, they did not hearken unto the commandments of the Most High. They continued to disobey them and disobey his word and they became known as the rebellious house of Israel. But the Most High didn't give up on his people. He continued to pursue them through the prophets. He only spoke to them, and it would be Christ, the final last leader for the nation of Israel, as well as the final last prophet to redeem his people right back to the Father, because he made a covenant with his friend Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and he not going to just break his covenant just because his people, Abraham's seed, continue to rebel against his word. No, that's not the heart and mind of the Most High. He loves his people. He loves us so much that he gave his only begotten son. Although this religious system continues to manipulate the scriptures by saying that Christ died for the world, which is very misleading in our modern day local churches. Christ never died for the world. When you go back and read the apostles' writings, he never died for the world. He only died for his people, and it would be the nation of Judah that would receive the benefits when it came to the miracle signs and wonders, as well as the gospel. What is the gospel? We'll go to Matthew 10 and verse 5. Don't go the way of the Gentiles. Do not even enter into any town of the Samaritans, but rather go to the lost sheep of Israel. As you go, preach or proclaim this message: the kingdom of God is at hand. And that's the gospel right there. But the point that I'm bringing out is that when he spoke to the disciples to go right back to the regions where his people were residing at, he didn't speak to them in the Greek language. He didn't even speak to them in the Latin language. Although there were people residing there in that language, it would be the Hebrew language that he spoke to when he was on the scene during that time. And when the Apostle Paul comes on the scene, this is the point that I'm bringing out. He did not speak to Paul in the Latin language. He didn't speak to Paul in the Greek language. He only spoke to Paul in the Hebrew language. Acts 26 verse 14 says, in the Hebrew tongue. I heard a voice speaking to me in the Hebrew tongue. I heard a voice speaking to me in the Hebrew tongue. I heard a voice speaking to me in the Hebrew tongue. I heard a voice speaking to me in the Hebrew tongue. It doesn't get any more simple and clear if I didn't make it repetitiously by speaking it fast to you. I heard a voice speaking to me in the Hebrew tongue. Very easy to understand the Hebrew Bible if you don't take the scriptures out of their context. And that's what our modern day churches, a lot of them are doing. I'm not going to say all of them are, because I haven't attended all the churches here in the United States. Only from my experience, a lot of the scriptures were taken out of their context. That's why I did the research, and I'm just sharing what I've learned, that this is a Hebrew book, and lineage is very important. So if you need to trace your lineage back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to know if this book is speaking to you. Yashaya.